Hey, Karen, how's it going?
Oh, it's going good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. The sun is
Yeah,
shining,
I know the weather is
finally.
great. It's a good day. It's a good day, and I'm so glad. We're in season 2, and we've got some amazing guests so far and upcoming. And today, are you guys in for a treat? Can I just say, like, this guy seems to be like he knows he's in the circle, right? He's like in the community as like this little hub center, and we're so excited to have a conversation with him today. Brian, do you want to
Awesome.
tell us who our guest is?
Malcom Coley from Loc Nation.
Loc
In
Nation
the
What's
Oh
up?
man, I love the excitement. What's up? What's up? I love the excitement. This is great. This is great. This is great. Really. What's up? What's up, Brian, Karen? Hello. How are you guys today?
Really good. Really
Good.
good. Yeah.
Good.
Spring is here, right?
Yes,
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
finally.
Yes.
I'm so glad we connected because and it doesn't, you know what, it doesn't even surprise me that we connected, to be perfectly honest. I, I've been following your account for a long time, Loc Nation, the movement, or it could be trademark. Did you trademark it?
Yeah.
Okay, well
Yeah.
then TM, right? It's two
Yeah.
purposes.
Yeah. Mhm.
I think we are very curious to hear your story. We want to know. We want to know how it started. We want to know, where it's going. We want to know what the magic is about. Go ahead.
Oh man. This story. This. Oh man. Well, first and foremost, thank you guys for having me on your platform. I do appreciate when anybody has me on their platform because you could always pick somebody else, right? But you guys decided to pick me. So thank you. I appreciate you guys for having me on your platform and your podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, so wow, Loc Nation. Loc Nation is my baby. Loc Nation is my baby. And it literally is so interesting what Loc Nation has done for me and how it's allowed, how that platform has enhanced my life tremendously, right? So just to give you a little bit of context on me, my name is Malcolm. I'm Malcom Locks everywhere on social media. So if you guys, decide to follow my personal account, that is it, Malcom Locks. So my journey started. I'll give you to the time where I graduated from college from Seton Hall University with my chemistry degree, and that's all the way back in 2008. So I graduated. Oh God, it's been 13 years since I graduated with my bachelor's degree. Oh my God. So yeah, so I actually wanted to work with the environment. It's so interesting. I'm just like, I look like the stereotype, but I'm so outside of the stereotype. It's ridiculous, right?
Which stereotype?
Man, listen. When you talk about intimidating Black person here in America, I fit that stereotype 100%. I fit that stereotype. So, but I'm so far outside of the stereotype, and that's one of the main reasons why we started the platform, was to really eliminate those misconceptions around people who do have locks, right? So back in 2008, I wanted to work for the Environmental Protection Agency. I wanted to be a whole environmentalist, and I'm still very much so into the environment, right? Whereas I would love to have a water company one day where I want to clean all the water on the earth, right?
Brian and you, man, you need to link up after this, right?
Oh my gosh, we have to
Talk
talk.
Brian's language.
Oh yeah, I'm totally on that page.
Yeah. It's even like, it's so crazy to the point I've been doing research. I've seen people, it's hydrogen and oxygen when you're talking about, creating water. And I've seen people with these big, huge machines that is just creating water from the atmosphere. And it's actually more water in the atmosphere than it is in our oceans, right? So, and it's clean water. It's clean water that can even be further cleaned, through filtration systems and whatnot. But that's another conversation for another time.
But I'm glad you definitely touched on that, because that's really important to know that you have a passion that is outside of the lock world, but it also harmonizes with it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, 100%. So like I said, I wanted to work for an environmental protection agency because, at the time when I was in college, and at the time when I decided that I wanted to get my degree, I was like, this is what I wanted to do. So fast forward a few years, I jumped from different pharmaceutical companies, Pfizer, Merck, Sanofi Aventis. I worked at, I just worked at multiple Sharing Cloud before they merged. I just worked at multiple pharmaceutical companies doing research and development. So I had a good little like 5-year stint doing research and development for big pharma, right? That's what they call it, big pharma, right? In 2012, I believe I moved to Delaware because I got a job at a healthcare diagnostic company doing formulation chemistry. So the name of the company was Siemens Healthcare Diagnostics, and I moved to Delaware late 2012. To do this job. I was doing this job. So fast forward to 2013, I was doing a formulation for the heart. So what I did specifically was when someone gets an organ transplant, I was the guy who made the substance that people injected inside of their body so that their bodies would not reject the organ. I was that guy. I made that stuff. So I had one where I had to do one for the heart. And long story short, whoa, am I allowed to cuss? Can I cuss? Am I allowed to cuss?
Go for it.
Okay. I fucked it up bad.
Oh no.
No.
Yeah, man, it was bad. It was bad. Yeah, I fucked it up pretty bad. So at that point, I'm like, man, yeah, I know they're gonna fire me. Like, I knew it was coming. It was a $400,000 project. And I was the main chemist, and I messed it up. Yeah, I messed it up. But see, when you talk about science, right, it's not a huge mess up. It was a minute one. But when you're talking about science and chemistry, a minute one is a huge one. So yeah, it was a small, minute error, but it was an error nonetheless. So like I said, I knew I was going to get fired. But at that point, I was probably about 3 or 4 years into my lock journey at that point. And I was like, yo, I'm just going to go ahead and create this Facebook page around my locks because I like locks and I like Facebook. So I just went ahead and created this page called Loc Nation. And that's how the page got started. I want to say like maybe about a few months after that, I connected with my brother, and he was doing my hair. He was doing my hair, and we started to talk about anime. And we just kind of like connected. His name is Stanley Charles Carr. He actually runs the Loc Nation hair salon. That's underneath our brand. And this whole Loc Nation thing just kind of like took its own legs. I can remember vividly where it was like, oh, our Facebook page got 50 likes. Oh man, we're doing it. We got 100. I was like, oh man, cool. We got to 1,000. It was like, oh, this is a real thing. And I just remember one time when I found out it was really real, we had started the Facebook page. The Facebook page had maybe about maybe about 20,000 followers, and our Instagram had maybe about 14,000. And somebody had messaged me and was like, hey, I'll pay you for this post. And I was like, okay, how much you gonna pay me? How much you gonna pay me? $350. Oh, really?
Oh,
really? Oh, this digital media thing. Oh, this is a real thing. Okay. So at that, it was at that moment where I was just like, my eyes open and everything shifted at that moment. So fast forward, I was just trying to really be in a position where I tried to figure out how I could get as many people engaged with whatever that I posted at any time, right? Not understanding that was a thing. That's just what I was trying to figure out. Everything. How can I get people to like my picture? How can I get people to engage, share, comment, whatever. Like I said, I didn't know it was a thing. This was all the way back in 2012, 2013. Mm-hmm. And I was doing that, posting in Facebook groups, tagging 100 people every single time I made a post. And I was just like, how do I get people engaged? And like I said, up to that moment where that person paid me, I didn't know that this was a thing. And that's when I figured out it was a thing. And at that point, it led me to do other things within my career. So that was kind of the long version. My bad. That was a long version.
You're a trailblazer. Early adapter.
Yes. I was definitely an early adopter when it comes, because locks are so extremely mainstream now. Mm-hmm. I just happen to be in the right place at the right time, you know, when it came to this particular hairstyle, because that's actually not only was locks on a uptick, but just natural hair in general was kind of on an uptick. Because people were their eyes were starting to open, and they were just starting to realize a lot of things. So yeah, I just was in the right place at the right time. Like currently, I think I have the second biggest lock page on all of Instagram. God rest my baby soul, Elle. She had Loc Living. She just passed away, so I want to give reverence to her. But she still does currently have the biggest lock page on Instagram called Loc Living. So yeah, you know, we got on top of it right when it was starting to go. Right when it was starting to go.
Wow, that's incredible. So people, I mean, myself included, are wondering what was the key point, do you think, where your social media savvy just sort of clicked, where you figured, okay, this is something that's replicatable, and I'm just going to keep doing this. You know how you were saying, I want to get people to like my posts. I want to get traction. What was it? Was there anything significant in that process that you can remember that you can share with the audience?
Definitely when I got paid. when I got paid that $350, I said, "Oh, this is a thing, right?" Yeah. But even after that, I just started me and my bro, we started to travel just everywhere. People was just hitting us up like, "Yo, come to my event, do this, do that, come to my event." And so what would happen is that, you know, I'm just a regular black kid from New Jersey. This is what I tell people all the time. I'm just a regular black kid from New Jersey, right? And you know, when we would go to these events, you know, down to Atlanta, New York, people would be like, "Oh, you Loc Nation? That's you?" Like, and that's when it started to kind of like resonate. And it's even crazier now, because I just recently came back from Atlanta, and you know, I'm just, like I said, I'm a regular guy. I just walk up to people who have locks. I went to a event, and I was just walking up to everybody who had locks, and I was like, "Yo, can y'all follow my page?" I still do that to this day. No shame, super humble, no shame whatsoever. So I still do it to this day. So I'm just walking up to people, and this was literally just last week. I'm literally walking up to people. I'm like, "Yo, can y'all follow my Instagram page?" And they were like, "I've been following you for years. You do that?" And every single time, I can't even begin to tell you guys how many times that has happened to me. And even people outside of the Loc community who are just like in natural hair or influencers or whatever, they're like, "Oh, you run Loc Nation? I've been following you for days. I've been wanting you to post me on the page." Da, 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 da. You know, then it goes to a different conversation. But yeah, every single time that happens, I just understand how strong these digital media platforms are, how much reach they have and how far they can go, and how responsible I need to be with my platform. Because you know, so many people have platforms and they don't use them responsibly. So I do my absolute best to use it responsibly. You know, everybody has a little ratchet in them, but you know, I try my best to be responsible.
And Brian, you learned from Malcom. You just, you know, be shameless. Just be like, follow World's Hair Skin, follow Noggin Oil. Hey,
you know, if we're not going to be our own ambassadors, who's going to be our ambassadors, right? Mm-hmm. That's the bottom line. And I think so many people are afraid. They're timid, you know, they're just not out there. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that impedes people's success.
100%. I am 100% fearless. Like, I don't have no fear whatsoever. So there's no issue for me to walk up to a group of people and promote myself or promote what I have going on or saying what it is that I need to say, right? So, you know, I don't mind. And I like I said, I don't have no fear. So if somebody's going to tell me no, okay, they're going to tell me no. On to the next. Like, that's always my mindset. Yeah. That's always my mindset. So it's never an issue for me to, you know, just walk up to people and be like, "Hey, can you follow my page? Oh, hey, I got this going on. Hey, I got that going on." I have no issue with doing that. And the more that I get into entrepreneurship, the more that I understand. I've been like this my whole life. I just didn't have I was
going to ask you, little Malcom, were you always the outgoing, extroverted?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was extremely outgoing in high school. It's so interesting. My senior year of high school, like, you know how you have like prom courts and homecomings and all of that stuff. Every single like court that my high school had, I was on every single court. Like, I was this or I was that, in high school, I was like class flirt. I was class flirt. So, you know, I was always around, you know, I was just always around that type of energy. I was just very extroverted. And like I said, I've been like this my whole life, but now it's at a point where that extrovertness turns into a brand. And that's what I did. I turned that extrovertness into a brand.
Yeah. Awesome. Very good lesson for all of us to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And
inspiring. It's energizing and inspiring. And I love that we've connected like this. It's so great because I exude that kind of energy too. Brian helps me kind of like, you know,
yeah, I'm much more calm, peaceful one, but I can be pretty raunchy too. Give me a few martinis, then I'm owning the room, just like you.
Yeah, I mean,
one martini. Three martinis, I'm under the table.
Oh gosh, yeah, I do love a good martini. Not even gonna lie to you. Yeah, I just, you know, the more I look back on it, and I had good training too. So like, you know, just like everybody, just, you know, when hindsight is always 20/20, right? So, you know, just in retrospect, my pop and my grandpop, not really. They were the ones who like really I was always wondering, where does this entrepreneurship bug come? Naturally, I was extroverted, but then it's something different when you're extroverted and you have an entrepreneur bug, right? I was always wondering, like, I will be at jobs and I'm just like, this not right. Something just ain't right. Like, and this was before entrepreneurship was the cool thing, right? This was before social media really got going and everybody was like, oh, entrepreneur this, social media that. You know, be your own boss. Yeah, like this was before that. Like my dad owned a music store back in the town where I grew up in, and he used to make me do the most tedious of things to keep that store running, right? I remember to this day, my dad had a big wall of cassette tapes, right? He was anal about this wall of cassette tapes. He always wanted them in alphabetical order. So in order to keep this big wall of cassette tapes in alphabetical order, you had to physically move them like this.
Oh my God.
I did it every day from, I think when I was in like 6th grade all the way up till I was like, until I graduated high school.
Can I ask how old are you?
What'd you say?
Can I ask how old you are? How old
I just turned 35 a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I just turned 35 a few weeks ago. So
well, happy belated birthday.
Oh, did I date myself? Yeah. Oh, thank you. Was I dating myself talking about cassette tapes? Oh shoot.
At least not for us. No, you did not date yourself. It was relatable. Cassettes, absolutely. It's totally relatable. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, my dad just made me used to do the tedious. I was my dad's promotion. And like I said, looking back at it, I didn't realize. So like my dad had a music store. So I was introduced to hip hop like around 1996. My mom never let me used to listen to hip hop that had the curse words in it. But my dad, on the other hand, was like, no, let him listen to whatever he wants. Because I was his biggest promotion, right? So, you know, in order for me to get the music that I want, I had to work. So I literally cassette tapes. I remember, you know, physically handing out flyers with my dad and my god brothers. I remember putting flyers on cars in big parking lots. Me and my dad used to take me to like distribution centers to go pick up music and CDs and vinyls for his store. And I'm just like, man, where did this entrepreneurship bug come from? Like, I have
no idea.
I'm like, where does this come from? And then not only that, my grandfather, God rest his soul, he had a car detailing business. So he used to have me in and out, washing these cars, buffing these cars, and get clean towels, do this, grandma that. What? And I'm like, where does this come from? And that now, in retrospect, I know exactly where it comes from. So shout out to my pop, my grandpa, God rest their soul. God rest my grandpa's soul. But this entrepreneurship bug. And like I said, that just translated to these jobs. I'm like, why am I here? This don't feel right. What am I doing? You know, like I said, this was before entrepreneurship was cool. This was before social media was really in a place where people were really building brands on social media, or before people realized that they could really build powerful brands on social media. So yeah, I caught that bug real early in life, and just didn't. And now I'm really starting to realize it.
Before we
And
take a break, can I just, I just want to ask, what was the name of your dad's music store?
The name of the music store in Salem, and shout out to everybody from South Jersey. That's where I was born and raised. Patrick's Camera and Music Shop. So it was historically, it was exactly a camera shop, but my dad shifted it and turned it into a music shop. And then, 2000, 2001 is when Napster came out. So, that just changed the whole music industry. So, yeah, and my dad's a musician. So music has always been a part of everything that I do, just because of how I was raised.
Amazing. So is it a good time to have a little break?
Yeah, we can do that. Come right back. We're just going to have a short break and listen to a lot more of these stories, because I could talk to you. I could listen to you all day, man. Like Malcom.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
All right, we'll be back.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hi, everybody. Team Noggin Oil here. Brian and Karen. So excited. We're going to show you today how easy wash is. This is our cleanser, our showerless cleanser, okay? The idea is you do not want to have to wet all the locks. We want to clean the scalp. We want to clean the scalp. That is the #1 goal. Keep the scalp clean, and your locks will be clean, your braids will be clean. It all starts from the scalp. We're gonna demo just how easy this is. Give a shake. Boomerang with me here. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, 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 shake. So I'm left-handed. I'm gonna start on this side.
Okay.
And if you have 2 minutes of your day, that's enough to clean your scalp. You're at the gym, you need to clean your scalp before going back to work. This is just how fast and easy it is. And one for good measure. I'm gonna wet my cloth, and I'm gonna use this nice bowl of water to do so. I'm just gonna wet my cloth. Now, what the wet washcloth is going to do is it's going to break down the product, and it's going to break down the oil. And all you're doing is just giving a little shimmy to the scalp to dilute the product and pick it up onto the washcloth. If your braids are fresh, you can be gentle. But if you're about to go in and get them maintained, if your locks are fresh and you just had them maintained, you do not need to be vigorous, you do not need to be aggressive. But if you're about to go in and get everything fixed up and you're ready for your maintenance appointment, you can go a little bit more aggressively. You can kind of build it up, you can kind of work it, you can massage it more aggressively. I know that Brian likes a good massage, so we're just gonna wet this cloth. Squeeze out the excess water. We don't want it dripping. See, I'm not moving around very aggressively. I'm doing it very gently, very mindfully.
Because I just had a maintenance.
So the wonderful thing about wash is if you're a stylist and you offer braids, extensions, dreadlock services, if you offer lock services, and the person comes in and they need a quick shampoo, but you don't have the time, this is the best alternative.
They will appreciate it.
How do you feel?
Amazing.
Wash. Wash in a hurry.
Yeah.
Now you have to hurry. Bye.
We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
So we're back, and I have an interesting kind of a question. I mean, you talk about entrepreneurship, And in the lock community, so many people are learning how to do locks. You know, they're developing their own techniques, interlocking with crochet, you know, and setting up their own businesses. And it's a pretty exciting time in our community. And so the idea of your family, your father and your grandfather being entrepreneurs and setting up their own businesses, I mean, that's one set of learning. But then the other side of that whole thing is, you know, you representing yourself. You are attracting your clients and your business to you. And I think that's where a lot of people don't really understand. Like there isn't a lot of education around how to behave professionally and how to sort of move your business forward in any real sense. A lot of people are just, you know, winging it, right? And so I want you to talk about some of the people that inspired you along along the way, and I think we actually had one on our show last season.
I think.
Yeah, big brother. I call him Big Brother Kafele, because that's who he is. It's Big Brother Kafele. He's been mentoring myself and my bro Stan for quite some time. We met Kafele, it's probably 2014. 2014 we met Kafele, and you know, he's been in our ear ever since. So you know, we've had, you know, when you are in a female dominated industry, you know, you are viewed a certain way within that industry, right? So Kafele has helped us to, you know, just navigate some of the waters, right? In terms of, you know, just whole natural hair thing. You know, we've learned quite a lot too, you know, from building such a big digital footprint, right? But yeah, he just like really showed us how to navigate a lot. You know, Jabril Wajid, shout out to him. He's helped us to navigate. Darius Peace, shout out to him. He's helped us. Man, that's really my guy. He's helped us navigate, you know, a lot of these waters. Man, just a lot of people in the Loc community. You know, my cousin, she has a brand called Locs Revolution. My cousin Shania, shout out to her, man. A lot of my homies over at Men with Locks, my homegirl Nina. A lot of people in the Loc community, you know, we're just tied in to a lot of people in the Loc community. But outside of that, you know, I shout out to people who I'm around every single day, who's literally, you know, where I was at, and you know where I'm at, where I was at to where I am right now. You know, my partner that I run my marketing company with, my boy Nudie Felton, here in Delaware, they call him New Diddy, that runs the city. So shout out to him. You know, I do my marketing company with him. Shout out to I call him my light skin OG, my boy Steven Sai. We have a gaming company as well. So, you know, he really shows me the ropes and really helps me to understand how to see business at a higher level through our gaming company. And, you know, shout out to my boy Stan. Me and Stan been doing Loc Nation for, we started in 2012. So now it's 2021. So we've been doing this for 9 years. And, man, there's also been, you know, like digital people who I pay attention to as well. Like I remember times back in like 2014, 2015, I started watching Gary Vee randomly. And I've been paying attention to Gary Vee a lot ever since, you know, since maybe about 2014, 2015. But a lot of my inspirations just really come from people who I work with, because I'm always like, man, I want to do what they're doing, right? Like I always be like, man, I don't have the talents that y'all have. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm always praising and bigging up the people who I'm around, because it's just the people that I'm around are just so talented. They're just so talented. They're creative geniuses and they're savvy business people, and they just know what's going on. And so I like to be a sponge, or, you know, a fly on the wall as much as possible, because without them, I would be no me. I wouldn't be able to sit here and have this conversation with you without them. So kudos to my team. Kudos to the people who've been around me from point A to point B, and we still got to get to point C. So we still got a lot of work to do. But kudos to my team, to my squads, Influencers Lab Media, Futures First Gaming, the Win Factory. We have the first Black co-working space in the state of Delaware. So shout out to my team over there. You know, I can't do me without the team. So kudos to my team. Those are my influences.
Wow.
Amazing.
So you have a co-working space? Is it Black-owned co-working space, the first one you said?
The first Black co-working space in the state of Delaware. So yeah, so it's called the Win Factory. And what we do is we literally bring the people from the community and we give them information and resources that they wouldn't be able to find anywhere else. And we're putting you straight in the direction or straight to the person. No middleman. We're giving you the person who actually has done it, whether it be real estate, high level business, entrepreneurship, whatever. We're giving you the information. You're going straight to the source. So we've been bringing people in from the community since April of 2019 when we first opened a co-working space, and we've been doing it. COVID, but we shifted and started doing it virtually. But yeah, we've been doing this for almost 2 years now. It'll be 2 years next month.
Yeah, that's
Amazing.
wonderful.
Yeah.
You've got so many things going on.
I do.
So many interconnected areas of community, and wow. I can't keep up.
Yeah.
I love what you said earlier about how, stereotypes, you're not really the stereotype on the inside. And really interesting. We've had so many guests on in the past 2 seasons that we all seem to have this kind of feeling that we don't really quite fit in. And I think it stems a bit from locks. What is it that makes people want to have locks? Why do people want to have locks, Malcolm?
Oh man,
Why do you have locks?
Yeah, and I've had them. I'm missing my locks. I'm going on. This month was actually 12 years. This month was 12 years that I've had locks. So it's interesting how my locks actually started. I remember I had graduated. My daughter was maybe about 8 months. My daughter doesn't even know what I look like without hair. She don't even know what I look like. So when I send her pictures, she's like, "Who's that?" So yeah, it's so interesting. At the time when I had started my locks, I knew that I wasn't trying to cut my hair. That just wasn't me. But at the same time, I was like, I don't know if braids are it either, right? So the person who I was with at the time, she was like, "Well, why don't you get your hair twisted?" I said, I might do that. So that's exactly what I did. I remember at the time I didn't have no car. So me and my daughter, we walked maybe about a mile down the road. It was this nice African lady on South Orange Avenue down the street from the school where I graduated from. And I said, "Can you twist my hair?" And she was like, "Sure, baby." And she's like, "Sure, baby." And that was that. And that was all the way back in March of 2009. And ever since, we've opened up Loc Nation Hair Salon here in Newcastle, Delaware. My brother, Stanley Charles Carr, he's been twisting my hair since maybe about 2013. But the reason why I got locks was not out of like anything trendy or it wasn't anything, because at that time it just wasn't trendy like it is now, right? I just was like, man, I don't want to cut my hair, but I don't want braids. And I knew I was going to be in a professional setting at the time. So I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and get my hair twisted. But now people are getting it. I try not to be a hair Nazi, right? I try my best not to be a hair Nazi because everybody's different. When it comes to locks, everybody wants this journey to be a spiritual thing, there's nothing wrong with that. And if it is a spiritual thing for you, that's great. That's awesome. I'm glad that you're being awoken through the process of maintaining your locks, right? That's great. But that's not everybody, right? Like there's some people who's like, "Man, that is a fucking dope hairstyle. I want it." That's cool. That's cool. Everything else can come from that, and even, people are just hair Nazis. Like it has to, if it doesn't go this way, then it's not right. Well, who are you to dictate what's right when people want to get their hair a certain type of way, right? So, I try my best not to be a hair Nazi, and I try to be as respectful of everybody's perspective as I can, because even now it's so trendy where people are getting crochet and extensions and stuff like that. And people are like, "Oh, well, that's not how you're supposed to do it." Or I'm not that. I can't tell somebody, because I don't know if I had the option to have my hair long in a matter of hours with a crochet needle.
Sign me up.
Right, because man, my hair was this long when I started. My hair was this long, and you know how people say the ugly stage, they're like, oh, you're not supposed to color the ugly stage. Malcom was ugly. I didn't like that stage at all. I didn't like that stage at all. So people were like, oh, it's the ugly stage. That's what you're supposed to go through. Whatever, bro. If back in 2009, somebody said they can make my hair long with a needle and some. Oh, sign me up. Sign me up. Yeah, sign me up.
That's exactly what I did. I did that. I
See,
went hair this long to hair down here.
And who am I? Who am I to be sitting here telling somebody like, oh, that's not the way that you're supposed. Everybody's journey is their journey. I can't sit here and tell you this was the way that you're supposed to go about your particular journey, right? That's just not something that I'm in a position to be doing, right? I created a platform to celebrate people with their locks, not to talk about how you go about getting your locks. Nah, you got locks. All right, we're gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and celebrate that. That's just where I'm at with it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because like I said, whoa, what long hair in 6 hours? Oh, sign me up. Sign me up. Sign me up. Sign me up.
Oh, Malcom, you need your own podcast, my friend.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I actually, it's interesting that you say that. I do have a podcast. It's called What's the Science? With the Lab Coat Boys. So outside of all this stuff that I got going on, we have a Facebook group with 30,000 people in it. 30,000 Black businesses, Black entrepreneurs, and like-minded people. So inside of that group, me and my boy Nudie, we created a podcast called What's the Science, where we bring business people on, we bring entrepreneurs on, and just like you guys we're telling this story with me, I tell the story with other people. So yeah, I cover all grounds.
I'm so going to check that podcast out. What the science? What the science?
It's called What's the Science? So if you guys ever go to my Instagram, right? Amongst all the stuff that I post on my personal Instagram, if you ever see me and another gentleman running around in the lab coat, then that's kind of, our brand is kind of like really scientifically focused. We have lab coats, we have flasks. It's just a scientifically focused brand. So we the Lab Coat Boys, and that's what we go by. And our podcast is called What's the Science? So yeah,
awesome. We've
been doing that for about a year now.
Amazing.
Your branding is on point. Can I just say, like, everything is like that you're doing, as we talked about, it's natural for you. It just oozes out of you, these brand ideas and networking ideas. I love it.
Yeah, what's interesting? You are a brand. Like even if I didn't have any businesses, right? Just you conducting yourself on a day-to-day level, right? You're a walking brand. Your reputation is everything, and your reputation can precede you. It can make or break you, right? So I keep that in mind at all times. Me personally, even if I didn't have anything going on, with the knowledge and expertise that I have now, I am a walking brand. I have on my hoodie for my group. My hat is the same, right? I am a walking brand, and I represent a ton of people. So I always have to be on target. I always have to be, in. Kafele was the one who taught me to always be in brand, right? Kafele taught me that maybe about 5-6 years ago. He was like, look, listen, I don't care who's on your team. I don't care if you're doing what or whatever. He's like, always be in brand, even if the camera's not rolling, because your reputation, your integrity, your honesty, that is your brand. You know what I mean? So how do you maintain that when the camera's not running? And that's something that actually Kafele actually drilled into my head. So yeah, I'm always a brand. I'm always ready to I think I just want to make an impact, and I'm really doing my absolute best to stay authentically true to myself while making an impact through the shit that I like. I love locks. I love playing video games. I love marketing. How can I make an impact to my people with the things that I like? And that's all that I'm doing. So that's why it makes it so much more natural for me to talk about it and to give it to the people because this is what I like to do. If I die today, I don't have no regrets. I'm doing what I love to do. I like this. What you mean to tell me I could sit here and play video games and make money? Huh? Oh, I could play with somebody and I could play in a beautiful woman's hair every single day and make money doing that. Sign me up. I love doing this. Sign me up.
That's so key, man. People have to find what they love to do, and then you're not working. Then you've got an awesome life. So that is so key.
Yeah.
Great words to live by.
Yeah.
I have to ask, what's on the board behind you? Not the specifics. These are just
no. Oh no,
that...
it's fine. It's fine. It's there for a reason. So I have two things behind me, right? So recently, so I told you guys I went to college. So I'm a part of a fraternity. Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. That's my fraternity. But I'm a part of another fraternity, right? I just was recently raised as a Prince Hall Mason in August 29th. So that's this right here. That's my certificate of me, I was seeking the light. So, I found it. And so that's that. Now the whiteboard, okay, I'm pointing at it right. The whiteboard is literally, I have one side where it's, what happens is that we need to our thoughts and our words, we can actually measure them, right? They actually have real physical power, right? So in order for you to manifest the thoughts and spirits that's inside of you, sometimes you need to write it down. And I need to write it down. So everything that I want to accomplish this year, I wrote it down. So all my goals are on this whiteboard. My to-do list is on this whiteboard, and all the things that I need to get done, me personally, within the companies that I run, I wrote all that stuff down on my whiteboard. So I have a goal. My goal of 2021, I want to make $1 million. Okay, so how do I take that big goal and break it all the way down to where I'm at right now? In order for me to make $1 million, I need to make $2,740 a day, right? Mm-hmm. How do I make $2,740 a day with every single entity that I got? That's on my whiteboard.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah. This is the stuff that people don't see. They don't see like that I actually have notes, or that I actually have to really do work in order to maintain, or like people see all the content that I put out and think that it's just a social media post. Like, no, I really have to work every day, and it does not stop. This entrepreneurship thing, it doesn't stop. So you have to love it. You got to be able to take the highs with the lows. And I'm kind of in a place right now where I'm trying to figure out how to handle the pressures that come with being a leader in your community. And I didn't go out here and proclaim that I'm a leader, right? I'm just doing what I like, and it happened naturally. So now some of the other things that need to come with the mindset has to happen naturally as well. So that's just kind of like where the space that I'm in right now. Like I said, I represent a lot of people. So I have to make sure that along with me being authentically me, you always want to have a sense of decorum as you're being authentically you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You are an influencer. You were born for this.
Yeah. Would you ever get into politics? Is that
the look on his face.
It's interesting you say that.
Dude, you could crush that.
It's interesting you say that. I've been asked a multitude of times to run for, these city councils. I've been asked to run for city council in the town that I grew up in, Salem, New Jersey. I've also been asked to run for city council here in Wilmington, Delaware. But I have a defined view on politics, right? Whereas it's like, and this ain't no shade to anybody or whatever anybody thinks, but Malcolm personally, I kind of feel like, when you talk about Republicans or Democrats, like, I don't know, it's two heads of the same snake. So I don't know if I want to be a part of that, right? It's so interesting, right? Where, I just made this post on my personal Instagram where I was just like, people of my culture, Black people, right? I'm just like, hey, and there's nothing wrong with getting people to vote. I want people to vote because we know, politics on a local a local, state level, that's where the real change is at, though on a local level, right? Of course, we could go out and vote for the president all day, but the real change happens with your city council, with your state representatives, your state legislator, your city legislator. That's where the real change comes, right?
In the community.
On a community level, if you can tell me what Donald Trump says, but you can't tell me that council person that lives 2 doors down from you, you don't know what they out here doing. That, to me, that doesn't seem real. If you can't tell me that, right? So but yeah, anyway, I say that to say, a lot of the energy that people put into politics, what happens if you put that energy into yourself? How far could you go? How could you, make some impact outside? You don't have to depend on politics to make impact. And I'm just not that person. I don't ever want to depend on anyone's politics in order to make an impact. So I'm just not, that's just not a lane that I'm in.
I feel like I just went to church. Like, I'm just like, yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but you know what's so cool is you're aware. Like you're aware and you have formulated something that makes sense for you, which is light years ahead of most people. So congratulations.
Right. It's so interesting you said that. If you guys ever have the opportunity, I don't know if you have or you haven't, watch it's a Netflix show called The Social Dilemma. And it just really and it's so interesting because social media is like key to my marketing, right? And to understand how social media impacts people's lives, even on a minute scale, it's actually pretty scary. So that's why I'm going all the way back to me saying that I need to be responsible with my platforms, is because I know how social media can not only affect politics, right, which we already know that it has, but how it affects people on such a small, minute level, right, where it literally can start race riots or class riots, or have you thinking something about a certain demographic where it's actually, that's an extreme version of what might never happen in your own personal perspective or space. So yeah, it's a lot. I'm just trying to figure it out, just like everybody else. I'm really trying to figure it out.
Yeah, we all are. But with people like you in the world, it's a brighter place. And, honestly.
Look, this is my heart, and these are the strings. You're pulling them right now.
No, it's been amazing.
I appreciate that,
you, dude.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's well, listen, we can sit here and we can talk for hours. I got stories for days.
Well,
My 35 years of living have been tumultuous, to say the least, right? So I'm, like I said, I'm just glad I'm at this point where I could have these conversations with people like you, Karen, people like you, Brian, and I'm just now that I'm kind of like, I'm starting to shift into I was the young man at one point. Now I'm starting to slowly shift into OG status, right? I'm like right at the beginning of OG status, right? Because I'm in my mind, I'm really formulating, and I think about this every day. 35 to 40. What's this 5-year span of time going to look like for me? How can I be impactful in this next 5 years, this next 5 years of my life? So yeah, but that 5 years of life is, I'm slowly walking into OG status. So I just try to be as mindful as possible. And I'm still learning every single day. I'm still putting myself in a space where I'm trying to obtain as much knowledge as possible every single day. And I'm just trying to be in a space where I can impact my folk every single day. So, just trying to figure it out like everybody else. I ain't perfect. Oh boy, I ain't perfect. Oh God, I still be out here fucking up. But I got good people around me where if I do fuck up, I got crutches. I got people I can lean on. I got resources and relationships where I can tap into to help me to make sound decisions, sound and wise decisions. So, I'm in a good space. So I just want to, continue to walk in this space, continue to walk in my purpose, and continue to walk in the divine plan that the great architect in the heavens got for me. So that's what I'm doing.
I love it. Wow. I think we need to have you back. That's really what it comes down to. I think you need to co-host with another episode for sure.
Would you?
I'm down. What? Look, listen, when you turn them cameras on, I come alive. Go ahead, put me in front of the camera. Go ahead, put me in front of the camera. Yes, absolutely. Whenever you guys need me, just hit me up, just tap in. You know, I'll let you, and I will absolutely schedule however I can. Just let me know, I'm ready.
Okay.
And then we're going to do a Loc tour, and we're going to Loc Talk tour, and we're going to come visit you too when everything sort of opens up. We've decided we're going to go visit all of our guests.
But the next show, we have to start off talking about your political career, because that's where you're going. I'm going to make sure you're going into politics. And you're in Delaware, man. You're in Delaware. A hop, skip, and a jump. Let's get Biden some dreads. Let's get some Loc.
You know, so it's so interesting you said that. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this story before we get off, right? So my co-working space, right? So Joe Biden had just won the election. So right behind my office, and just I'm like the definition of entrepreneur and hustler. I like sometimes I just don't realize that. I just go. So anyway, behind my office is what's called the riverfront. Down here in Wilmington, Delaware, we have a huge riverfront that's literally sits right behind my office, right? So Joe Biden won, and you're driving down a highway, you're seeing like the stage and all the American flags, and like they set everything up for Joe Biden, whether he won or whether he lost, right? So everything was set up. He won. So he was about to do his speech, and his speech was going to start at like 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night, right? It was thousands of people behind my office. I've never seen this many people in my area before. Thousands. It had to be all of 10,000 people at my office. Well, anyway, at my office, I have 22 parking spots at my office. I only know this because of what I did. I have 22 parking spots at my office, and at the time there was nobody at my office, and every single parking lot was open. I took a chair, I printed out some paper, $40 to park. Boop.
That $1 million is getting closer and closer, dude.
I filled up every spot in maybe 45 minutes.
Wow, brilliant!
Every spot. I made $1,000.
Good for you. That is. Yeah. I love that story.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So we talked about all kinds of things this episode, and we want to ask you one last thing. Can you give us a trivia question for our audience when the people are on YouTube watching this episode? The first person to comment the correct answer will get a combo of our Noggin Oil brand products. They are they're specific. Do you know Noggin Oil? Come on, like Noggin Oil, right? So it's for protective and parted hairstyles, locks, braids, extensions, and we want to give away a combo to our audience. Can you help us?
Absolutely, I got you covered. So guys, earlier in this podcast, I mentioned the name of the store that my dad ran in Salem, New Jersey. It was a music store, but I mentioned the name. If you guys can mention the name, the very first person who comments, guess what? You win.
Noggin Oil. Awesome. Oh, thank you. This has been a real treat today. I was looking forward to this, and we'll be in touch. We will absolutely link up and bring you on for another episode.
Thank you guys, Brian, Karen. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you guys for giving me this hour of time on your platform. Anything that I could do for you guys, please just get in touch with me and let me know. Got you covered.
Okay. We're going to have all your links and all your connections and all of that, put into the comments, the description below, and all of the stuff. But people know how to find you, my friend. Loc Nation, the movement. Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Loc Nation, the movement. Loc Nation TM on every platform. We're on Facebook. We got about 80,000 followers on TikTok. We got 50,000 on Facebook. We're almost at 200,000 on Instagram. And randomly, I have a Tumblr page. I got like almost 10,000 followers on a random Tumblr page. So I'm everywhere. Me personally, I'm Malcom Locks everywhere. I'm on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm everywhere. So I am accessible. I am accessible at the moment.
Great. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody for listening. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you and hear you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Loc Talk. Loc Talk. This episode of Loc Talk was brought to you by
Noggin Oil, Modlocks, World Hair and Skin.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.